If you have ever played checkers before, you're probably thinking that there is no specific way to win, as it relies on your own intuition based on the opponent's moves. Most people would think that you can only stick to a set playbook, but in this video I will explain the main strategies at play, including timing of moves, steps for early and late piece placement, as well as being able to respond to opposition positions effectively that can help you win every time. Most importantly, starting moves can dictate the rest of play. Here's why. We can label the board as 32 dark squares like this. So, for black, the best possible starting move would be 11 to 15, and to face this, white's best option would be 22 to 17. Black's second best option is 9 to 14, and for white, 22 to 18 best matches this. These opening moves allow maximal possibility for piece development moving forward, but from white's perspective, also a valid defense. In fact, developing center pieces is more important than edge pieces because they give you more option to move on diagonals compared to edge pieces which are bound by one direction. Early moves set you up nicely for the rest of the game, but really, king control is what will determine the rest. This is why the most crucial position is the king row, as it is the difference between your make and break. Getting the first king is a huge advantage, so the importance of protecting the king row is something that every checkers player should realize very quickly. However, the natural tendency for players is to refrain from moving your back row. This is certainly better than carelessly moving them without any plan, but there's a better way. If you don't move your back 4 pieces, that leaves you 8 pieces to advance against your opponent. If your opponent does move some of the back pieces, your 8 could be clashing with 10 or 12. This could easily leave you on the wrong side of some exchanges, which is why you should always advance 2 of the 4 back pieces. But which 2 pieces do you leave behind? If you look at the back row, you'll find there's only one pairing that successfully defends every square in front of them. For black, it's the pieces on 1 and 3, and white is the pieces on 30 and 32. Leaving those 2 as long as you reasonably can and bring the other 2 into your attack. Notice how those 2 pieces can defend every square that leads to the back row. If you're playing someone who doesn't want to move any back row pieces, you have the advantage. You'll be advancing 10 pieces against 8 while still having your back row sufficiently defended. The main point of this is being sure to hold off for long enough before moving the back row, as it prevents them getting the king too soon, but not doing so for such a long period that the rest of your pieces are now vulnerable. In checkers, 2 things go hand in hand: stability of pieces and tactics. Pieces grouped together tend to be stronger than ones that are separated. Advance your pieces collectively, using the ones behind to support those ones in front. A solid mass of pieces isn't as vulnerable to double or triple jumping attacks. Let's take one of the strongest possible formations. It can't be easily broken up, and if your opponent forces exchanges with the front pieces, you'll still have connecting pieces behind them to continue your charge. Amateurs often exchange pieces randomly just to simplify the game. Instead, try to build up a strong formation. When your opponent feels the pressure and starts initiating exchanges, you'll find your superior development leaves you in a stronger position, at which point you can rely on important tactics such as the double jump to claim more pieces per move. This can involve making tactical sacrifices to then allow you to double or triple jump so you can advance towards their king line, but also take extra pieces whilst doing so. And finally, the trapping pair strategy. To use the trapping pair strategy, you need to wait for a certain setup on the board. Your first checker should be in the leftmost or rightmost column against the edge of the board. Your second checker should be 1 row in front of your first checker on the diagonal. Move piece 2 towards your opponent's pieces so that it is in danger of being captured. The forced capture rule requires your opponent's piece A to jump piece 2, but it cannot then jump piece 1 because it is against the edge of the board. After your opponent has captured your piece 2, then you can use your piece 1 to jump on piece A. Given that you are now a casual checkers professional, a donation in the form of a like and subscribe would be much appreciated.